Pariah Koval Kamikaze, Tito Ortiz versus Chuck Liddell. Nothing that really hasn't been said already, but that was bad. It was pretty bad. It was tough to watch. Damn. You know, I got into MMA when the Ultimate Fighter Season 1 came out. The original cast, you had Diego Sanchez, Chris Lieben, Josh Koscheck, Forrest Griffin, Stephen Bond, all those guys. Pretty much all the guys that played a huge role in paving the way for modern MMA. And Chuck Liddell, he was one of the coaches on the show alongside Randy Couture. And around that time, Chuck was the man. He was the Iceman, like Superman, just knocking people out, living like a rock star. He was just killing it. And to see him lose like that, man, it was tough because you know how competitive Chuck is, but more importantly, you know how much he doesn't like Tito, and that's the last guy Chuck would ever want to lose to. Chuck has always said it. He said Tito's one of those guys you don't want to lose to because it's bad enough you kick his ass, he's talking, but imagine losing to him. You kick his ass, he's talking. Imagine losing to the guy. He never shut up. So that was like the worst thing that could have happened, is to lose to a guy you never want to lose to, and potentially lose, like have that be his last loss ever. You know, if that's going to be his last fight, it's going to be to the guy he dreaded even thinking about losing to. That sucks. But yeah, like I said, I felt really bad for Chuck, and I almost didn't watch it. That's just how like awkward it was. Just like so awkward seeing him in the ring. Not just losing, but just seeing him out there, knowing he doesn't have it anymore. You can see that. Everybody saw that. I was online and I saw someone say, they said, "Oh, you guys, you're so pissed that Tito won and you're shitting on Tito. If Chuck would have won, you would have been happy." It's like, of course, look, Chuck has been off for 8 years, and everyone saw the training videos. He looked like an injured war vet in rehabilitation. Okay, if he would have won that fight, it would have been a miracle. So yeah, of course people would have been happy. Duh. Add to the fact that Tito is a douchebag. Come on. Yeah, I would have loved to see Tito lose a third time to Chuck Liddell. Nobody wants to see a good guy like Chuck Liddell go out like that. You know, and Tito is a grade A narcissist. In his mind, he beat Chuck Liddell. Doesn't take in consideration any of the factors like, oh, the man's been off for 8 years. He's practically close to having Parkinson's disease or whatever, some kind of disease fighters get from getting hit too many times in the head. I mean, with so many factors behind why Chuck lost, you know. But in Tito's mind, it was the greatest Tito Ortiz ever, the greatest, you know. And Tito, he always does that, man. Whenever you lose, it was a neck injury, it was a knee injury. It wasn't the greatest Tito ever. But when he wins, oh, it was the greatest Tito ever. I was in the best shape of my life. Nah, man. Chuck didn't fight the best Tito ever. You just fought the worst Chuck ever. You know what I mean? You didn't fight the Iceman. You fought the Snowman, the Waterman, Jack Frost. I don't know, but that wasn't the Iceman. That was not the Chuck Liddell everybody knows and loves. It was the Chuck Liddell everyone loves, but in terms of the Chuck Liddell everyone knows in the ring, that fighter, that wasn't the same Chuck Liddell. And Chuck's personality is a personality that I really like. I think a lot of times people, our favorite fighters or whatever, our favorite fighters, actors, comic book characters, we tend to gravitate towards people we can feel like we can kind of relate to. People that like Nappa and Vegeta are probably more so in the lines of being douchebags with excessive hubris, really negative, flat-out bullies. If you like Gohan and Trunks, you're probably more on the lines of being laid back, easygoing, nice, good natured, similar to Goku and Krillin, probably happy-go-lucky, very positive, well-intentioned. You know, we tend to gravitate towards individuals we feel like we can relate to in some way. And guys like Tito, I don't. It's funny because Tito he's very difficult because on one end he is like a decent guy. He can come off as like a decent guy, but on another end, he's such a prick in so many areas. You know, that's why I would say ultimately I don't really vibe with a guy like Tito. I don't like that kind of stuff, the way he is over the most part. In terms, if I had to just do a collective assessment, he's a narcissist. You know, I would say ultimately narcissism is what his predominant personality and general traits are founded on. You know, that's what I think. And Tito, like most narcissists, he can trick you. Like in one end, he can come off like, oh, Tito, like he's real. I agree with Chuck. He's really good to his sons and his kids and stuff. But in another area, many other areas, he's like, man, what an asshole. What a douchebag. And Conor McGregor, he's another one that's like that. He's really good at doing the good guy, bad guy thing to get away with a lot of bad. You know, narcissists, they're really good at that. They're really good at playing on to human nature. They're really good at noticing whatever it is you value and living up to the standard, knowing that you will dismiss all their bullshit. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying humans are perfect. There's a certain degree of imperfections we should all be willing to accept in other people, but there certainly is a line, you know what I mean? But as far as Tito, Tito, he took his kids to the theme park. Tito, he dedicated a wonderful speech to our American troops. So let's just give him a pass for everything. Nah, homeboy, you still an asshole. Fuck a pass. I would say this too. Whoever's around Chuck Liddell, whoever was around him, egging him on in his ear, having him think he could pull off a win, Chuck, they don't give a fuck about you. Nobody that gives a fuck about you would have been in your ear telling you, yo, you can do this. You know, you ready. You looking like the Chuck Liddell of old. Oh, you look old, but not like the Chuck Liddell of old. No one wants to see people they grew up watching, their favorite fighters, going out like that. And then there's the whole, oh, he's a man, he can do whatever he wants. And that's true, but I also think it's a fighter's friend's job as well as the fans. You know, if you're really a fan of a fighter, it's your job to try to get the message out there somewhere and somehow that, hey, I don't think you should be doing this, you know? At the end of the day, they can do what they want, but the fans and friends, they should play their role in saying, hey, listen, I don't know about this. Do what you want, but just take this in consideration. But then again, those hardcore fighters to the core, you can't really make them take what you have to say into consideration. So all you can really do is just sit back and, hey, let them do what they want and just hope for the best, but didn't work out in this case. Oh yeah, and fuck Oscar De La Hoya too. Dude, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with Oscar. Oscar De La Hoya is just in his own little delusional world. I saw an interview with Oscar. They say, oh, Oscar, do you think Chuck lost because of his long layoff? And Oscar's like, oh no, I think it's because Tito is looking. I just think he wanted it. It's like, Oscar, I agree with Dana. You must be on drugs or something, and I'm not the one to really I don't like doing that, accusing people of things like drugs or whatever. I like to try to just stick to the facts of what we do know. But man, if he was on drugs, I wouldn't be surprised. And if he ain't, then there just must be something seriously wrong with him naturally or something. He just, even the vacant look in his eyes, he's just in his own delusional world, in one ear out the other. You stupid. You to think Chuck Liddell should have even been in that case. You don't give a fuck about him. You're just thinking about money. You don't even know how to pronounce his name. What kind of promoter are you? You don't even know how to pronounce the fighters' names. You don't give a shit about MMA or the fighters. Yeah, but that's my take on it. You know, the thing about Tito going back to narcissism, now he want to take pictures with Chuck Liddell, be all fake. That whole thing was so fake, man. And that's how narcissists are. They can only be nice to you once they feel they're better than you or they have something to hang over your head. Oh, now they want to take pictures and stuff. But get out of here, man. That weasel shit. You held a grudge until that man took so much damage to where he shouldn't even been in a cage. And the thing about Tito, he don't got any standing knockouts on his resume. That's the only standing finish Tito has on his resume. Do the math, man. Chuck should not have been in there, and it has nothing to do with Tito just getting so better and just that being the best Tito ever. No, it was a testament of that being the worst Chuck ever. The fact that you got a standing knockout, something you don't even typically do, something you've never done, proving that your victory had nothing to do with you being the best version of Tito Ortiz ever. for more to do with Chuck Liddell being way past his prime.